Did you know there's a difference between disappointment and discouragement? I know the two words sound very similar, but there is a difference. Disappointment, unfortunately, is unavoidable. All of us are disappointed. All of us have times where things didn't work out the way that we wanted them to, where our plans didn't happen as we wanted them to. That's just a part of life. But your disappointment doesn't have to turn into discouragement. Disappointment is unavoidable. Discouragement is a choice to become pessimistic or negative about things that will happen in the future, to decide that it's just no good. Now, while disappointment is unavoidable, the Lord does not want you to become discouraged. Now, I want to talk to you about 4 ways how you can avoid that. The first one is to take a wide view of things. In other words, know that today is not the only day of your life. If things didn't go well today, there will be another day tomorrow. There will be a second chance. There's hope right around the corner. And even the bad things that happen to you can be a learning experience to do better in the future. I believe that's the spirit behind Romans chapter 8, verse 28, which says that for those who love God, all things work together for good for those who are the called according to his purpose. So take a wide view of things. Here's the second suggestion. Control self-talk. Now, self-talk are those little voices in your head that are either saying, you can do this, you can try again, you'll do better next time, or negatively, you're no good. You need to quit. You were never able to do this. You never will be able to do this. You've got to control that self-talk. And when you want to be negative, you have to turn it around and be positive. And don't believe those negative voices in your head. And if you think that sounds a little strange or something that you're uncomfortable doing, look to the Psalms, because you find examples of this all the time in the Psalms. I've got one here from Psalm 42. In verse 11, the psalmist is talking to himself. He says, "Why are you cast down, O my soul? And why are you in turmoil within me? Hope in God, for I shall again praise him, my salvation and my God." So you might think it's a little weird to talk to yourself, but it's a really healthy thing to do if you're being positive and trying to control that self-talk and turn it around and avoid discouragement. Here's the third thing that you can do. Keep working. Don't quit. Just keep working. Keep doing the right things. Now, this is something that the Lord had to remind Elijah. Elijah was a prophet, but he chose discouragement when he got disappointed. And he went out into the wilderness and he got under a broom tree and he prayed that he might die. I mean, he really wanted to quit. And the Lord turned him around. How did he do it? He gave him work to do. It might have sounded a little insensitive, but Elijah was saying to the Lord that he's the only one who cares and he's the only one who's done anything. And the Lord said to him, I want you to go anoint a new king for Syria. I want you to anoint a new king for Israel and anoint Elisha to be prophet in your place. And then I want you to know this, that there are 7,000 in this country who have not bowed their knee to Baal, the idols of that country. So Elijah was wrong. He thought he was the only one. The Lord said there's 7,000 others, and I need you to get back to work. And the reason he did that is he cared for Elijah, and he knew that it wasn't going to do Elijah any good to just lay around and complain and wallow in self-pity. He needed to pick himself up and get back to work. Sometimes that's just what we have to do. I like Robert Frost. Maybe you've studied him. He was a great poet, a great American poet. And one of his most famous poems is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. And that poem ends like this. These woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. There's a story behind that poem that it was December the 22nd, and he realized he didn't have enough money to buy Christmas presents for his kids. So he talked to his wife about it, and he was able to scrounge up a little produce from his farm. He wasn't a very successful farmer at all, and he went into town. He thought, if I can sell this produce, then I'll have enough money to buy Christmas presents for my children. He worked at it all day in town, and he couldn't sell a thing. And he got very low, and he chose discouragement. And he went back toward home, and his horse stopped at these snowy woods. And he started contemplating things, and he got really low. But what stopped him from becoming completely discouraged is the last line that he repeats twice. He has miles to go before he sleeps. Well, sometimes that's the only thing you can do to keep on going, is to remind yourself, I have work to do. There are people depending on me. I will keep on going, and I'll feel better later. Disappointment can turn into discouragement if you quit. Here's the last thing. Pray. You don't have to go through this alone. If things don't work out the way that you wanted them to, you can turn to God. Pray to Him. Ask Him for help. The Lord taught the disciples to pray without fainting, without growing weary in Luke chapter 18, verse 1. And also Paul said, pray without ceasing. That doesn't mean that your lips are always moving in prayer to God. What it means is prayer should be like breathing to you. It's your life source. You should feel like you're constantly connected to the Lord. Have a prayerful attitude all the time. And so you're going to be disappointed. Unfortunately, life does not always work out the way that we want it to. But it doesn't have to turn into discouragement. You can remind yourself of these things and keep on going. Don't grow weary. Don't quit. There will always be another chance. There will always be tomorrow. Have a great day.